What's up? My name is Skratch Bastid from Canada. When I was in my teens, I got into music. I was into just watching our MTV, which was much music in Canada, and I was really into all different kinds of music: rock music, R&B music, and rap music. And at the time, me and my best friend were always sharing music, and he got really into rap. So he got into, at that time, I guess, like Doggy Style and The Chronic, and then we would trade tapes and that, and then he got Method Man to Cal, and when I heard that album, I was like, oh, this is like the coolest, darkest, heaviest, grimiest thing I ever heard. Then we went back and listened to 36 Chambers, and really the Wu-Tang era is where I got into hip-hop music. I mean, I remember seeing it on TV, really, because I grew up in Halifax, Nova Scotia, which is pretty isolated. It's kind of above Maine in Canada, so right on the east coast. Actually, one time zone over from New York to the east. And we didn't get a whole lot of, there wasn't a whole lot of culture immediately in my vision, even at school and stuff. So on TV is where I saw a lot of it. And I remember seeing at the awards shows, there would be, because I was into music, there would be an award for a hip hop or a rap artist or a rap of the year, and there would be some performers. And so one of my earliest memories of DJing was seeing Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince one of the years performing, I forget what, maybe they might have been performing Summertime. They might have been performing something off of maybe like I Think I Can Beat Mike Tyson or something like that. But Jeff was cutting up It Takes Two by Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock, which is a song that I recognized, but he was doing something to it, but I didn't really get what was going on, but I knew that it was kind of cool. I mean, it depends what you define as production equipment. My first keyboard was just something that my dad had, which didn't have any sampling on it, but you could record a pattern on it. So I'd record a rhythm and then play something over it. It was really simple. It sounded awful, stock sounds. My first sampler was when I started getting in. DJing was my thing, so I had turntables and all that. And then I bought a 4-track, because then with the 4-track you could make mixtapes that had all crazy stuff. I was inspired by like Mr. Dibbs and Vin Rock and people of that nature. But my first sampler was an S950, and I bought that because the producer who I liked in Halifax, named Gordsky, made beats with one, and I said, well, if Gord makes these awesome beats with one, then that's what I want to get. I started pretty young, so I got into DJing when I was 15, and my mom started, like, it was pretty obvious that I was into it, but at that time I didn't even have a job yet. I did the odd jobs like mowing lawns and shoveling snow and babysitting and all that kind of stuff, just making money to buy headphones and tapes and then eventually vinyl. So when I got into DJing, I wasn't even really thinking about a career. But then when I was in university, I started DJing a lot, and my parents were kind of like, then I decided to take a year off university just to do music, and they were a little bit skeptical, but the gigs kept coming in and I kept getting busier and busier. So I think as long as I kept bringing in more work, and they'd see me traveling around the world, and they said, okay, well, you love doing this, and they were really supportive. In fact, my mom was one of the first people to tell me to go into a DJ battle, because she saw a poster for one and said, hey, Paul, you're downstairs like working on all this stuff, you should go into this DJ battle. So they've always been really supportive of what I do. For me, the more I listen to music, the more I understand about music as a whole. So even what I learned today will tell me something about a song that I heard or enjoyed 15 years ago, and I'll be able to hear older music in new light based on things that I discover as a listener and B as an artist. Sometimes in discovering, learning more about song structure or chords and keys and just music theory, you respect songs that you didn't respect, or you start to fade songs that you liked. I think everyone has their own musical journey. And for me, I'm just knee deep in it, and I'm always learning new stuff. And I guess it just inherently inspires me, because I love music, and I find inspiration in all sorts of music that changes my direction. And more than anything, music just makes me really happy, and I love to share it. And I think that's what makes me a good DJ. Being the underdog, I've always kind of come from a small city, or even on a global scale, a small country. And I've just always thought that defining yourself and setting up shop and saying this is what I do is your strongest asset as an artist, because then people can come to you just like if you have a really good restaurant on a crappy street. If you've got good food, people are going to come by and respect it. So they'll go out of their way if it's that good. And I think that me coming from a small town of 300,000 people on the east coast of Canada, I mean, I did have a lot of inspirational talent around there too. But just continuing to go. I've been at it for 15 years, and I think to go that far from where I started, I think that's been the biggest obstacle, I guess. But it's also made me sharp and good at what I do. Music has brought a lot of happiness to my life, and brought a lot of people together. It was always something that was around my family when we would have parties, and I think it brings people together, and I want to know that my music brought people together and it made people happier.